Good afternoon, everybody. Since I'm going to be making a solid attempt at some German today, so I guess I'll also say Guten Tag. Let's see how I did that. My name is Natalie Danelishen, and I'm with the Free Cities Foundation. I'm new to this organization, so to give you a brief background about myself, I've been in the Liberty Circles for 18 years. Most of the time I've worked for liberty-focused nonprofit think tanks, including the Mises Institute. I worked there for 11 years as a contractor. Most people know me by my Twitter account. I have a few followers, I know. I've met a couple of you already. But I'm also a homeschooling mother of three, which seems to be a wonderful theme at this conference. I'm really loving that. So my oldest child is actually 17 years old, and he already graduated high school. So homeschooling is fantastic. I was also homeschooled, so we're second generation. I graduated at 16, and I started college early. So for me, Free Cities is just a means of ensuring freedom for the next generation, and that's what I'm loving to see at this conference. So today we would like to share updates on progress being made in international communities across the world and discuss lessons for new aspiring community builders. What is an intentional community? They are territories within a nation state that lack formal legal autonomy but are populated by people united by a common ethos or a set of values. Our guests on this panel today are, how do I pronounce your name? Matthias Gertz is the founder of the, okay, here we go. Bürgergenossenschaft Mittelsachsen, Workers Cooperative in Germany. I'm American, I'm sorry. Mark Edge is the lead investor in Coral Beach Village and co-founder of the Free Talk Live radio show. And Nicole Reese is the chief operations officer at Region Tribe. So let's get started. Matthias, can you share the vision and purpose behind the Bürgergenossenschaft Mittelsachsen Citizens Cooperative in Germany? What progress has been made since your speech at last year's conference?
Yes, of course, I like to. And first, I would like to say that my English is not good enough to speak totally free, and so I use my notes.
See, we're there together. It's okay.
And because it's very, it's very important for me that I express myself in a way that you understand. So, with your permission, Natalie, I would like to tell you the story how it came about building the cooperative, and that was Titus approached me at our first official Liberty in Our Lifetime at Daniels in the Modelhof in Switzerland with the aim of doing something for people in Germany who don't want to or can't leave the country. And his idea was to build up this cooperative that allows maximum individual freedom within the structure or in the framework of German law. So it's setting up Tito's ideas for free cities, adapted to the possibilities. Adapted to the possibilities of German law. Okay. So should I repeat it? Yeah. Okay.
No, just keep going. It's okay.
Okay. And the cooperative, to explain, is a special form of operating a firm, a company. And in addition to operating at the market, what every company does, the cooperative has to promote their members. And this promotion can cover all areas of life, and the costs reduce the taxable profit of the cooperative. And for me as a tax lawyer, it's like squaring the circle, so you reduce your taxes with costs for daily life.
Well, for me, taxation is that, so reduce it as much as possible.
And that is precisely the goal, creating solutions for daily life better than anyone could do for building a small group. Building a small group is important, and creating better solutions for daily life, better than anyone could do on their own, better than the state does and will do in the future less and less, as we assume. And now I've got to use my notes, and that's about what it says in our statutes: creating housing and renting it to our members, establishment and operating a common purchasing organization, establishment and operating a common energy supply, kindergarten, schools and further education facilities, provision of vocational guidance and training opportunities, holding and organization of cultural, social and informational events and measures, establishment and operation of arbitration tribunals, very important I think, in the future, the establishment and operation of self-help facilities, for example for health and old age provision. So if we can do that, it's at least partly a de facto secession.
Yes.
And to make it work, we have to be big enough to create the necessary synergies, and small enough to be able to make decisions and everybody feels comfortable with it. And we call this solution, in general, a citizens cooperative. And it should not be only serve us, the people who built the cooperative Middelsachsen, but also be an inspiration for others to do the same, and then network all these cooperatives together. So, similar to the Hanseatic cities in the Middle Age, who enjoyed relatively great autonomy within their city walls, and build it together the Hanseatic League. And that's my idea, building very many of these citizens cooperatives and building the new Hanseatic League.
I can't stress how important it is in libertarian circles or liberty circles to network. That is a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
That it really is. Mark, I have a question for you. So Coral Beach Village in Utila, Honduras is described as a purpose-driven community. Could you tell us more about the project's mission? How does it support people who value freedom, crypto, and private property? And how has the project developed since your speech at last year's conference?
Right, so everybody here has heard about the ZAs that are going on in Honduras. I wanted to participate in that. I got a piece of property that fit the criteria of ZAs. It was a defunct resort, essentially, with an operating restaurant. And my hope was to turn it into a ZA. Obviously, the government in Honduras changed, and so we just began to focus on how are we going to make people's lives on the south shore of Honduras as free as we possibly can under the criteria that we currently have today. And the first thing we had to do was make that restaurant profitable. And we did. And that's pretty much what's changed since last year. We brought in a new manager, and we're currently operating in the black, and I can't tell you how happy we are. So, next, we're going to build, we've got a builder. We haven't settled, but we've got two competing, and we're going to get a price per square foot. And then we're going to begin building houses. We'll sell the houses to people. They'll be able to participate in the ZA or whatever comes in the future, if it does. And if not, they'll have houses in a beautiful resort on Utila in Honduras.
Sounds exciting. Yeah. Should be fun. Nicole, as the CEO of Region Tribe, will you explain the core values and goals of your organization when it comes to building and growing regenerative neighborhoods in Mexico? And what practical steps does Region Tribe take to support your partner communities?
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Natalie. Also,
we gotta make sure your microphone's on. There we go.
Woohoo! All right, thank you, Natalie. Hello, Liberty lovers. I was invited here by one of the Free Cities Foundation members, and I'm really excited to share with you about Regen Tribe. It's a collective that I represent. Some of our core team members are here, and we essentially focus on building, designing, and growing what we call regenerative neighborhoods. And these are fully self-sufficient lifestyle real estate projects and communities, mostly in Mexico, but also abroad. And we operate as a collective and an agency, as well as a tech startup. So with this focus on regeneration, which is in practical application, simply leaving things better than we found it, and practicing full self-sufficiency. So regeneration is basically having a net positive impact in social, cultural, and economic values. And this is something that we practice in the communities that we design and that we work with. something that I find really interesting in the overlap that we have with Free Cities is that I consistently hear this theme of sovereignty and valuing sovereignty, and it's typically manifested in legal sovereignty, which is such a cool piece of the puzzle for autonomy. And what I see as a complementary piece of this type of autonomy is the self-sufficiency. So if you are food, water, energy, and waste self-sufficient, then you are embodying like a holistic type of autonomy that leaves you less vulnerable to potentially fragile or hostile outside governments and systems, as we've seen with relations that happen to existing free cities. So I'm really excited for future partnerships in pursuing legal sovereignty for our partner projects. So another value that we have is the pro-social human experience. Individuals exploring their human potential, and also as an individual, but also in a collective. And so we do this in various ways. We have 3 main verticals of education, providing resources to people, and working directly with people in our agency and consulting, because we've worked directly with different vision holders of land projects to investigate, what went wrong. So the ways that we help people, because we see a massive trend of people wanting to either live or build in projects just like yours, and just like all of the projects that have been shared here. And we're really excited because we see it as a global trend. And so our goals as an organization, Natalie, are to build as many of these places as possible. We want to support all of the projects that are out there, whether it's a simple exchange of a free resource, all the way up to partnering on a very deep level in land development, which is our ultimate goal. We currently, as I said, operate as a tech startup. We launched a platform that is a social networking tool that helps people who are either seeking or building these communities to find projects, explore resources, and connect with other like-minded community builders. So that's one way that we support the community building process. Ultimately, we're building a SaaS product that helps everyone build their community in an automated process for whatever stage of the community building journey that you're at. It can assess your needs and pull from the literature. There's so much existing literature when we talk about intentional communities and case projects that have been successful over time that you can pull from, and that we integrate as part of our research at Regen Tribe. So, yeah.
Well, it's very important to connect to like-minded people and have those connections. The more you connect with each other and the less you connect with the state and government, and it's a great thing. Rely on each other more instead of the government. So, general question for all of you: what practical steps can members of the audience take to be a part of your intentional community? We'll start with.
Yeah, I didn't answer the question totally.
Go ahead.
I know now. We have two areas that we talk about. One is building other cooperatives, and the other is building our own one. Our own one should be not only for us, as I said, but as an inspiration for everyone. And so we also help others to create another cooperative. If anybody wants to build another cooperative like ours and build the new Hanseatic League, like I told, everyone is welcome. We have got a very attractive foundation package. We ourselves worked about 3 or 4 months on it, with the help of tutors and some lawyers, and we do think that we can do it if we are focused on one weekend. And for the details, we can talk at our booth. It's at the door.
Your booth is right by the door. Yeah.
And for ourselves, we also are happy about new members, of course, and in our local region in Middle Saxony. And we found now, I have to say, it's about €1,000 you can get a membership. And we found now a property where we can live our vision to live together, and it's about 8.6 hectares of land where you can build houses. There's a villa where people can live now, 6,000 square meters, doing business and residential living. It's on the state of old GDR state, so many work to do, yeah, but many possibilities to build up a community there. So I think 30 families perhaps, or something like this. To build a
30
small,
families is a really good
yeah,
start.
I think
And will you have farming
there's
too?
There's a river at so you have your own so you have your own where you can do your Entspannung. I don't know the word in English. You can do your relaxing on the areas there, and and we need people who want to come there and live there, and to help us to buy it. Yeah, it's needs money and ideas and time of people.
Fantastic. Mark?
Coral Beach Village is a very simple concept. Basically, it's a community of homes, and we're building homes. The way you want to get involved might be to come live in Utila nearby, or just once we have them done, which I suspect will probably be somewhere about a year from now, buy one of our homes. So that's how you get involved. Enjoy the restaurant, learn Spanish.
Sounds fun. I love it. So we have about 6 different partner projects in both Mexico and Costa Rica. Our flagship project is called Cuyabe. It is a 400-hectare project that has a special distinction that was able to negotiate with the local Mexican law and change its status to be an ecoaldea, which grants it special zoning and building permissions. That also is one of those things that you buy land and you build a house, and it's really that easy. And that's kind of how you get involved in the projects. Ways that you can get involved in Regen Tribe, actually. We're an open collective, and we have a network of service providers that we also love to recommend to people who are like what we call vision holders. Mark, Matthias, everyone connected to our project here is a vision holder. And so we strategically have chosen not to develop our own land project, but rather empower the existing ones, kind of like not having your own kids, but helping adopt and foster ones so that they can grow to be really successful people. So that's kind of been our strategy as we look to partner with like the ultimate futuristic intentional community that really served us. So, yeah.
And one final question. We'll start with Nicole. What has been the biggest lesson you have learned to date from building an intentional community, and what advice would you give to people in the audience who are interested in following in your footsteps?
I have such a list. Okay, first of all, don't do it alone. Common mistake. We've worked with a lot of vision holders directly and like seen the common pitfalls, and that's part of what we offer in our end-to-end strategy consulting is helping you avoid the really common mistakes, and that's one. First is either kind of like Mark has done, or Prospera, find a place with existing infrastructure. Like a virgin land is great and dreamy, but actually there's so much existing infrastructure that will actually reduce the amount of time that your village or city will be functional from like a decade to like 2 years. And that's a big margin of time. The second is either if you are starting with raw land, put short-term housing up as soon as possible. And it might sound really obvious, but we work with a lot of vision holders that focus on like building the sexy lagoon and like building temples or whatever that they think will attract people, but it's actually housing that will get people to move to your project tomorrow. And being able to offer that gives you that advantage. Some other things. Don't just replicate what you know. There's so much cutting-edge technology and governance in like how to onboard community members. Like all of that exists out there. We kind of have a bias of what we think would work, and we integrate that into our communities, and then it just creates dysfunction. So that's something that like do your research for sure, because so many people out there can help you avoid what is mistakes that everyone makes. And then finally, it's kind of an interesting one, but make your spot a destination spot. Focus on making it unique in some way, either aesthetically or building some sort of like interesting factor, whether it serves a purpose or not. Like some people build like giant sculptures that make people want to take the picture next to it, but like focus on making it a destination spot. And this can be done with events or activations. This is like stuff that we do when we partner with projects. Like we're working with a project in San Diego as well that we'll be visiting in May, precisely for this reason. A lot of people get the community and then they struggle to make it exciting or alluring enough for people actually to show up and buy. So that's one big thing, is like you have to know how to market your community.
Yeah. Mark?
What's the question? I was listening. I like the sales pitch.
What's the biggest lesson you've learned to date for building your intentional community, and what advice would you give the audience?
I'm going to echo what she said. It's people want utilities. The electricity doesn't just show up. You've got solar costs a lot of money, or you've got to hook into the grid. These kind of things. Potable water is a big deal. It doesn't just, you can't just collect it from the sky to get sufficient, unless you live in New England, in which case there's plenty of water there. Internet, you need to have solutions for that. And as I said previously, people want to be able to buy things on Amazon. You need a system to be able to deliver things in a relatively short period of time, weeks. If you can get something in 3 weeks, I think people can plan that far ahead. And the last thing is kind of location specific for us, is those darn sandflies. There's a biting insect in Honduras, and we're trying very hard to beat that thing back.
Yeah, as far as I understood, my both colleagues here on the stage, I would say it was what I would say too. But the hardest lesson that for me is be patient.
Yeah, and patience. It's going to take a while to build a community. Where can people who are interested in your projects find you?
On the internet, bürgergenossenschaft.net with UE, not with, it's written like that. And there you can write us an email, and then we invite you to visit us. And then we talk face to face.
I have to visit that town now. I really do. I can pronounce it. So,
CoralBeachVillage.com is a place to start, or Coral Beach Village is there. You can go visit at any time. There's hotel rooms to rent. There's a restaurant that'll serve you fish fingers. Whatever you need. CoralBeachVillage.com.
Come find one of us, definitely. You can visit regentribe.org, but one of the beauties of in-person meetings is getting to have the conversation face-to-face. Regen Tribe on Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, Medium, YouTube, most of the normal socials. But yeah, come talk to the guy with the braids in the front.
I think we have time for questions. Does anybody have any questions?
Hey, Mark, so what would you say is one of the unifying principles of the people coming to your place that are interested in living there and spending time there?
Things have changed over time. So initially, the idea was, let's create a libertarian place for libertarians. And one of the things I've learned over time, I've 20 years doing libertarian talk shows and these talk show, Free Talk Live, is maybe we need to build communities for everybody. And if you build a libertarian community, people will operate within that. They'll work within the system. They don't need to be philosophically sound. They don't need to have, oh my God, they believe in Ayn Rand, not Rothbard. Oh, you can have those discussions over a beer if you want. But to me, it doesn't necessarily, libertarians are welcome, but so is everybody else, I think is...
Okay, but the correct answer is Rothbard. I have to say that. I'm sorry.
Team Rothbard on this side, Team Rand on that side.
She had some good quotes, though. I'll give her that.
Indeed.
Any other audience questions? Now, I will be taking online questions as well. Okay, I have an online question from Victor. What are the activities within the community that could be monetized and generate money for its development? That's for all of you.
Yeah, I can start.
Go ahead.
One of the most sound ones is always hospitality, hosting people, allowing people a chance to rent or like taste your community, like try before you buy. It's a great funnel to get permanent community residents. Other income models that we see successful communities implement are events, learning opportunities, socializing. Typically, sometimes they produce goods. It could be a wide range of goods, but they produce something on site that, for example, like they own olive groves and they produce olive oil, which is actually quite an expensive good. And so things like that you can leverage. Typically, leverage the land that you have, which comes at no cost to you. So like you can rent it out as well as a venue. These are all things that we've seen that worked really well, that helped communities bring in enough revenue to purchase the land and own the land ultimately.
In my case, building houses, selling houses, then people who want to stay in, say, the hotel, you can work with, you can have your house Airbnb'd out, or you can work with the hotel operation to have people put into your house, and then you make money that way. So it's all about hospitality.
I think at us it's similar to what Nicole said, and it depends on the people who come and build the cooperative together, and then you can do what people can do. And it's about what I say, living and energy and things like that, where it's all areas of life, and you do your business together, you gain your solutions together, and that brings you profit.
And another question from Victor. What are the ways to involve residents or visitors in the development and activities of community projects within your community?
I'm not sure I understand.
What are the ways to involve residents or visitors in the development and activities of community projects? Like within your community, the community projects.
So in my case, it's largely people on vacation or retired, or they have some spare time, digital nomads, those kind of things. And it's just very much people get together, they'll do karaoke, they'll do trivia, they'll play cards. Pickleball has picked up in popularity for those who aren't familiar with it. It's kind of like ping pong and tennis are wrapped up together. And it's just a place where people go and have fun.
I love that. What I've seen in different communities and communities that I've lived in and worked with, there's kind of like a question before that, like, are the people in the community, what do they have in common, and what kind of lifestyle do they want to create together? And out of that is born like dances or parties or sports. Like there's a whole gambit of like game nights or movie nights. Like depending on like how you like to spend your time, it's what you agree upon. Any like any natural social event, like you can create events that engage community members, but ideally the community members are like so excited to put that on themselves. Like they produce, they're like, hey, can I do this? Can I show this?
Yeah, I think I have to say what I said before. It depends on the people who build the cooperative, and I think in our solution is that people find together who are homogen, we say in Germany, so they fit together and have the same idea of doing things together. So I think, as I told, the communities have to be small enough that works, and big enough that it's getting profit for all.
It sounds fantastic. Well, I look forward to visiting all of you at some point in my life. Thank you. Peter gave me the sign, so it's time to wrap up.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.